Hello everyone, welcome to this session. Already messing up, right? Good. This Tableau speed tipping session, 40 tips in 40 minutes. Please don't count. Hello to the Salesforce Plus users, the video on demand, and of course everyone in the group. Me and Young is going to do this session, and you see these beautiful t-shirts we have. I also have an arrow going this way, and Heidi Kalbe was supposed to be there. Hi Heidi. So it's just us, but hopefully you're going to enjoy this session. It's going to go really fast, so you don't have time to make any notes. Both our workbooks are published on Tableau Public, so you'll find it there. My name is Tore Levensen. I'm a Tableau Jedi from Norway. Work at Crayon Consulting. I'm a Tableau visionary, Tableau ambassador. I've been using Tableau since version 7, which is back to 2012. And I do a lot of training, so I trained 4,000 people in many countries. So call me if you need some training. And you can get some stickers of me afterwards. I'm doing tiny Tableau tips. I've done that for 2 years, so you're going to get some best of today. And now, Nyung.
Hello everyone, my name is Nyung, a Vietnamese living in Germany. Currently I am a BI consultant at the Information Lab. My Tableau journey started 3.5 years ago when my very first Tableau coach, Martin Pohlers, introduced me to the concept of data visualization. With visualization, data isn't just numbers, and beyond that we can make them fun and lively and understandable for people. What you see here on the next slide, as an example, was my first viz of the day about inflation. We hear the percentage number of inflation every year, but with animation, it's easier to see how much less you can get with the same money. That is just one example. I believe that you are here today with the same joy working with data visualization as we are, and in the section we are going to share a few of our favorite tips, and the secret behind this one will be at the end as well, so stay tuned. And now back to Tore.
Don't leave before you've seen that one. So let's see if we can find the correct one. That's the wrong one. There's so many vizzes over here. So now you can see not this one. So I now need to I need to do this. That's a problem, right? Because then I don't. Okay, let's see. We might make it work. So, hello again. I'm going to do some tips for you guys, and I'm now going to look at this screen. So that wasn't prepared. Looks like we haven't prepared too well. Okay, so we're looking at this box and whisker plot, right? There's a whole bunch of circles in here. When I then hover over any of these, I don't know how many there are unless I click on the tooltip, right? So the tooltip says 228 items. If I go to paper, suddenly I have 1,205. Problem is that how can I really see these circles in the view? There is one function that is supported by Tableau, but it's not documented. So it's not average, but I'm going to do an average of random. See that it doesn't pop up on the IntelliSense? The random calculation gives a random number between 0 and 1. And now you see that all these circles, all these dots down there is now spread out a bit more than before. It doesn't look very nice down here though, so I need to go over here and get rid of the header. And then you see these circles a bit nicer. If I move on and continue using this random, but this time I'm going to put my sales on size. Doesn't look too good, right? But the sales is now the size, or this size of the sales is bigger or smaller depending on how much. But now I'm going to use a different function, which is called index. That's both documented and supported by Tableau. And now I'm creating art. It doesn't give you too much yet. But what this is a table calculation. So if I right click on this, I need to compute using each customer name. This index will then give a value from 1, the first customer, till the whatever number we have of customers in each of these subcategories. So if I do customer name, you will get this jittered bar chart instead. So now we see the spread. The taller the circles or the bar chart means the more customers as well. So it's a different way of looking at multiple circles or views in there. This one, when we are having multiple measure values into one view. I have the average discount, that's in percentage. I have sales, that is hashtagged, unfortunately, but it's 60,000, 70,000, 400,000. The problem with the range, well, if you went to see devs on stage, now there's going to be new range stuff. But for now, when we are looking at this, we can't compare the 16% with the 40,000, which is a problem in this range. But as long as we have, if I manage to see that in here, move down a bit, you see measure values is on color. If I click on measure values, I can go to use separate legends, meaning that I have 3 different measures, get 3 different separate ranges and also colors. So we see average discount is one color, quantity and sales is more or less the same, but yeah, can't get a hold of that one, so there's going to be an exciting... I'm just going to mention, we're going to do this session tomorrow as well. Hopefully the screen is going to be a bit better, but it's going to be recorded. I'm trying to, well, you can change the color, so just believe me. Now I'm going to do a couple of tips that are things you can't do on desktop, but you can do on Tableau Public or Cloud, and some dashboard tips as well. So I'm going to switch over to my Tableau Public and move it over here. Let it just load in. So let's first go to this dashboard. Beautiful, beautiful dashboard, visual best practice, obviously. But you know what, when you're adding these different sheets into Tableau on the dashboard, and Tableau adds containers and a new container inside a new container and a third container and a fourth, and you have no control anymore. So there's a shortcut, the T button. So I switch from dashboard to layout over here. So on the layout side, when I drag this one a bit to the right, you will see that my the entire hierarchy in here, I can't see the buttons in here. That's the problem, that it won't open. So I'll use the keyboard shortcut, just use the arrows. See that I have a horizontal container. I have yet another horizontal container. I have a dashboard and title image container. So that's the first thing you do or should do when you're adding stuff into a dashboard. Right click and rename these containers. So you don't have 15 containers that are horizontal, 15 that are vertical. The other thing that's really frustrating and that you can't do on desktop, if I would like to move this item or this sheet somewhere inside of an existing container somewhere, you can drag and drop and you try to find that exact sweet spot and you miss, and you have to undo, try again, and suddenly there's 5 new containers that Tableau has added for some strange reason. Did you know that you can take any sheet, drag and drop inside of any container? You can take any container and drag and move these around in here as well. So that's a lifesaver. So I often build the dashboards on desktop, publish it, go to the server or cloud, and then move these stuff around. Another thing you can't do on desktop, if I go to this sheet, I have these circles, right? On sales, we have different sizes in here. You go to the size and then you try to move these, make it bigger or smaller, and you're going to do that for multiple sheets. Problem is that slider, you can't see exactly if it's 75% or 70% or whatever you want to do. So on server, you have this, or cloud, you have the percentage. So you can put in whatever number, and you can do that for all the sizes across. So that's quite helpful. Another thing that you can do, but that's not only on, that's more a dashboard tip, and that is when I have this now container in here, or a sheet, title, and a picture, if you go to this very small triangle, you can copy a dashboard item. Can't do that if you have a sheet in it with data, but you can do that for if you're building a template or moving stuff around. So if I now go to this other sheet in here, Control V, at least on the Windows, and it will copy the entire container, including the picture, keeping the name that you already have renamed from horizontal container to whatever you call them. So that's the last one. Just gonna show you one quick tip, the G button. You use this one to get the grid. When you want to make your perfect, pixel perfect dashboards, press the G button and you get a grid in the background. And then it's over to you. And then we might manage to fix, so we can use this screen instead. Yeah, now everything's gone. Thank you.
Everything should be here.
Perfect. Thank you. There you go.
Thank you. Let's start off by building a chart which gives users a lot of flexibility using parameters, because who doesn't like parameters? The first one lets them switch among sales, profit, and discounts, and the other one is for date parameter. So now my first lazy tip is when you write date parameter, you can write them all in lowercase, so Tableau can read that as a date part later. That will save you a lot of if and then clauses later. For example, here we have a calculation, and instead of all this, I just need my parameter. Click OK and test. And now it works. What about the ugly names in here? I have my parameter names, and if you haven't seen that before, you can update the axis names using parameter. And now it changed to sales. And if I switch to discounts, it's also changed to discounts. And now I want to give my users even more control by letting them zoom in the chart. So for that, we need a numeric parameter. So at the moment, it's say 0. And I can use this parameter to fix the start. And now if I want to zoom in around here, that would be 9%. I can type in here 0,09, and the chart will zoom in automatically. And now I want to show you a way to do caption. Normally you do caption to write short notes like this one in here, but do you know that you can actually write very long notes in there as well, and with a few formatting, it will look like a nice documentation inside the sheet. So fancy progress bar, now that is a fun one. We are familiar with Tableau blue pills and green pills. Let's make our own one by dragging min1 to columns, and also min0 and then min1 to the axis. And now I have measure names and measure values. Change that to line and put measure names in colors. And now I have a line chart with only 2 values. If I want to resize in my charts using the mouse, sometimes it's so hard to find the right place. So instead, I can hit Control and the arrow to different direction. So we can also change that around as well. So hide the header, and I want the size to be maximum. So we see that it's at the maximum already, but I can make the chart bigger by dragging a value into size. And now it's getting, now we have a pill. And for the progress bar, I need a percentage number. And Torge,
Yes.
how well did you sleep last night from 1 to 100%?
I'm not going to say that out loud, but so for the sake of this, 75%.
Okay, thank you. And now the magic is when I double click on that one, my gradient bar will be filled with a wonderful color gradient. Dynamic scales. I have a butterfly chart here, but something is off. Note that here we have 40,000 and here 30,000, but they do look the same. And we know that charts should tell the right story, so let's come and fix that. We need somehow to bring this bar over to the other side. For that, we need a calculation that say left-hand side or right-hand side, which one is longer, and take the max of that, we have the longest bar. And if I use that as a reference line on 2 sides, we have something like this. 2 reference lines on 2 sides with the same value, fixing the bar charts, making sure that they have the same scale. And I don't want to see my reference line, so let's come to edit it. And then I just want them to be there to do this function, so I'm gonna hide everything in here. Click OK, and do the same thing on the other side. And now our butterfly chart on two sides will have the same scales. Filter custom value. I want to show in the dashboard a list of unprofitable countries. Here is the list of the countries and profit. At the moment, they are all positive. So if I drag in here profitable or unprofitable to the filter, we see only profitable. But I don't want to wait for the new data to come in and come back to change the dashboard. So here we have custom value list. I can go here and type in unprofitable, enter, and when I hit OK, all the countries will filter out because they are all profitable. But if we look at other years, countries with negative value will show up in here. So the next one is one fun thing you can do with map. And yes, I did say map is coming in a while. Here is the pie chart. Normally, you can use dual axis to have a donut chart or a sunbird chart. But you can have only maximum 2 layers. There is a way that you can get more than 2 layers in the chart. Here is the same chart in a map. Control-Shift-B to make that a little bit bigger. So I made that with the first center point, 0 longitude and 0 latitude. Put that point 0 again to a map layer. And I want this to be a white circle. So white and circle, make that big. And now easily we have a donut chart. Repeat the process again, point 0. And for this one, I want it to be a pie chart with sales in angle and category in colors. Make that big. And don't worry about the background. We will take care of that later. And one more white ring in here. So very fast, we have a 2 layers donut chart. And that is as an example, and you can put how many layers as you like in here. And when we finish, go to Format, go to Map, Background Layers, and we want the washout to be 100%. So when we had our first call together, and I told him about the idea of this chart, that was a reaction I got from Torge. Real friends don't let friends use pie charts. And that made me directly his new fake friend. And with that, over again to Torge for the second set.
Yeah, you shouldn't use charts that have a name of food in it. Waffle charts, lollipop charts, and so on. But people tend to do it anyways. So I'm going to do some more tips in here. I've used ChatGTP, of course. I co-lead the Data Plus Maps user group, so please scan and join this. We have a meeting coming up in May. And since I'm co-leading that, I'm going to do some map tips, of course. This QR code is also in the published workbook that you will see. So I'm going to do maps, not with with those weird type of visualizations in there. So a lot of my clients, since I live in Norway, they would like to see Norway only, and that's not a problem to just filter out Norway, right? I can even put in a layer as well. I can put cities in here on a new marks layer. And as we all know, Tableau is very self-centered and think that everybody has data only in US. So now you see all the European cities in the US. That's because I also need to have country and region on details. So now they are moving back to Europe. So now I have these cities in here. Just going to make these a bit larger so you can see them as well. So I can then keep Norway only, that's fine. But those damn Swedes are still there in the map. We don't like the Swedes, so let's get rid of the Swedes, right? And that's the beauty when you have these filled maps, because as Jung just did, you can go to map and go to the background layers, and we can just wash out Sweden as easy as that. No, where's Sweden? Oh, yes, Sweden is gone. But when I hover over Norway now, it's flickering, and I would try to see these circles that are the different cities. This is Bergen, by the way, that's where I live. Come say hi. So one thing we can do on the layer of the country region, we can disable the selection, because I don't need Norway to flicker. So now it doesn't flicker, and now I can look at these different circles. Next one is if you have multiple data points, a lot of circles, they might overlap each other, so you don't necessarily see where's the hotspot or where do we have the most sales or whatever information we do have. We can go to color and then change the opacity a bit so that we see through them, which is fine, but there's still a lot of circles in the view. So one thing that I tend to do or try to do sometimes is to go to marks card and switch from circles to density, so then you get this heat map of the hotspots of your data. You can adjust the colors and opacity as well. And then if you would like to see how this has changed over time, I'm going to now add the order date. And this is a quick tip. I'm right dragging instead of left dragging, so I can get this drop field. If you just left drag the old-fashioned way, then you will get, where's my order date? In here. Then you get this blue pill and then you need to adjust it. So a quick tip is to just right drag to get this drop field instead. I'm going to look at this per quarter. I'm going to say OK. So I put this on pages, and pages is the one where you can do animation. So if I click now and play, and we see how the sales have changed over time in Europe. Next tip, still on maps. This is, I've shown this before. I don't see a use case for it other than it's just cool to do. And if you want to do a pop quiz or a quiz with your family, just get rid of latitude, longitude. You get all the shapes of your countries, and then you can ask where's Norway in here, for example. That works also if you drill down from the different layers you have in here. So if I go to region, if I go to states, then it's a bit more problematic to find all your states. But it's a fun thing to do. So if you really got a good use case for this, please come to me. I would like to know that. Last one on maps. We're looking at Europe again. If you for some reason would like to format or need some grid lines in your map, you can right click and say format. On the left hand side we have the big black box of formatting in Tableau. There's so much stuff happening there. But if I go to grid lines and not do it per sheet but do it per row, I can go in and say I would like a red sparkly grid line this way and one this way as well. Really nice. Order of the pills. We all know the red pills. We don't want those in Tableau. We have the blue pills. We have the green pills. And in this case, we see that there's a line chart or a dual axis with a line and a bar. The line is now hidden in the back. I can drag this pill behind the other one. Now the line is in front, but also the axis changed. Now I have profit over there, but I would like to keep sales on the left hand side. So another trick in here is to go to color and then just change the opacity for, I'm going to do it not for all, but I'm going to do it for the bars. So we can make the bars a bit see-through. And then we can see the line, we can see the bar as well. Next one, when it comes to order of the pills. If you are creating a tree map like this, we're looking at regions on color. We have country and in between these, so we see that central is the biggest one. Inside of central, France is the biggest one. If I then add in order date to detail, and I do it again to detail, you see that it's splitting these different regions and countries as well. Because now still Central is biggest, Germany is the biggest, but in 2024, then France 2024 and so on. But if I now move country up on the hierarchy, so the order of the pill, you see that it's switched around. So now it's region first, then it's country, then it's the year. If I move year even further up, then we see that we are now looking at 2024, it's now bigger, and then we have 2023, etc. So the order actually does matter in here. Then again, there's a whole bunch of squares now, so there's some countries that you don't even see. So you could do, instead of doing this visualization, the tree map, we can take the year of order date and put it either on columns or rows. So we can create these small multiples instead, so then we can compare them to see how they changed over time, and we don't clutter too much in the visualization. Then, so some nice packed bubbles at the devs on stage before. And also in here, the order matters. So now I have a packed bubble. I'm just going to make it entire view so we see everything. I'm going to add in the customer name to detail. And now we get this. Do you see what numbers in here? Depends on the eyes, I guess. Supposed to, no, it doesn't say any number. You see those tests, right? But now I have customer name in there. And I'm going to add in country region to color. So it's now even more beautiful. But what if I would like to change the order in here again? It doesn't matter if you drag or you drag them like this, we have country before, so now it's ordered by country instead of the customer name. What if I also would like to have customer name on color? Well, I can drag in customer name here on color, but then my region doesn't have a color anymore. So the trick here is to just go to this one, and you click and change to color. Then you have a gradient within each region for all the customers as well. Don't create these to show data, but this is more visually appealing to look at. Now I'm going to switch over to a Spotify dashboard. We have some data with some trends over time, and I would like to, if I hover over in here, you see that there is in this data set, there's a URL. So if I go in here and I click on any song, then it pops up over here. But why do we want to leave Tableau to listen to music when we can listen to music inside of Tableau, right? So I'm going to go to my objects and find the URL or web page object down here. I'm going to put this in the middle, like this. And if you don't put in anything, I'm just going to test to see if it works. Just randomly put in a web page. This is hopefully it's this is how much money Norway have in their pension fund, by the way. Just wanted to show that. Problem is, of course, that you see that it's just going down now, so I better work for my money. But let's edit this URL and get rid of it. No URL in here, and that will make sure that when I'm just going to highlight a Norwegian artist, obviously, because I'm from Norway after all. When I click on this, it pops up inside of the workbook instead of going outside. And this is done by, if I go to actions, head over here, there is this URL action where we can have the name, you can have in the URL, and it can open up in a web object. So when there is a web object, or if you have multiple ones, you need to change it over here. But if you don't do anything, it will actually go in here. And then I can listen to Aurora singing Runaway. But there's no sound out here. Or can you hear it? I can't hear it. Doesn't matter. And I think that's it for me now. So I'm just going to stop Aurora playing in the background in case something is happening.
For the next tips, I want to go back to Excel. So if you have an Excel sheet like that with two tables, one here and the other one in here, and if you load that in Tableau, it will look something like this. And I want Tableau to recognize them as tables. So let's go back to Excel. And now it's Norwegian, but imagine it's English, so you can go to formulas in here, and then under define name, we can give that a name. So we just define one table, do the same thing for the second one. I can call this one value. And if I save that, close that, and go back to Tableau, as soon as I refresh the data, notice in this area, the two tables are the defined that pop up in here. So now I can put sheet one out, and I want to work with my value table. Now we have a nice and neat table ready to use. And we see here that we have none value everywhere in the dimension and also in the measures. Let's go to rename them. For dimension, it's quite straightforward. Right click and then edit alias. We can call it something like to be confirmed. So it will change here. How about measures? We can do the same thing, but right-click somewhere else in sum of value. If I format this, notice there is this area for special value. I can write it in here, coming soon. We don't have the cost, but it will come soon in here. So when I hit enter, it will show it in here. So before I knew the trick, what I did before was to write a calculated field for that, and now you can even color the none value to make that even more highlighted. And while we are at renaming, do you know that you can rename the total and grand total as well? Here is a waterfall chart showing the flow of income. The total in the end should be the net income. So instead of letting total staying here, we can format that and call that net income. And it will show in here. So that will make the whole picture. So we were talking about Excel before, and I know that a lot of Excel users was looking for running product function. It's something similar to running sum, but with multiplication instead of addition. For example, something like that. And you can do that in Tableau too. So let me bring in here the previous value function for that. Previous value. And I want that to come our ID. I need to aggregate that, so put it in here, min. And on the first row, we don't have any previous value, so I want that to time 1. Let's test. So here, 1 times 2 is 2, times 3 is 6, times 4 is 24, so now it works. What are the use cases for that? Popular, we need to calculate the money after compound interest or inflation because it's coming up years over years. So if you still remember my inflation example in the beginning, we have an example here. I need to pay $10 for my breakfast on the first year with the inflation rate of 5%. Let's calculate how much I need to pay every year. So first we need to prepare our columns for the running product. So that would say it starts with $10, and the rest is 1 plus 5% is 105%, saying that the value of this year is 105% the value of the year before. So that, the whole thing times pivot value of 1. Okay, so I can replace is here. We have the price I need to pay every year. So after 9 years, instead of $10, I need to pay more than $15 for my breakfast. Star rating, that is the other fun one. I have a few ratings for a few products in our superstore, but I don't want to show them as numbers, I want to show them as stars. So let's go to do that. I can call this one stars, and let's bring in here a space function. So the space function is doing something here you can't see. It's giving the number of spaces for each number. So here there are 4 spaces, here there is 1 space, and know that I can bring my stars in. So by the way, they are Unicode characters. Put that in common for now. And I want to replace 1 space by 1 star. And after I hit enter, it will fill up with the stars in here. And now I want that to count until 5. So copy that. And then I want to replace my dark star with a white star. By the way, that is how they are called in Unicode character. Here's a dark star, and here is a white one. So okay. Oh, sorry. Need to go back to the star function. And here I need to count that to 5, so 5 minus. Applies. So now we have a nice and easy way to create a star ranking. And I can even go to format that one as well. So let's go to the dashboards. Normally, if I want to change something in my dashboard, I need to go back to my sheet and change the thing in the sheet and come back to the dashboard. If that is a thing you've done as well, those tips here will make your life easier. You can change a few things within the dashboard. The first thing is the name of the sheet. Here on the left-hand side, you can right-click on that and click on Rename Sheet and call it something like Rename. Hit OK, so now it's renamed here already. And I can navigate to my calculated view under Analysis, Edit Calculated View. And let's change the target. At the moment, the target is set to be 110% the target of the year before, but I change that to 150%. Hit Apply. We see the changes here right in the dashboard. A lot of countries don't meet the target anymore because it's too high now. And we can go to Worksheet and Format and Tooltip to change the tooltip in here. And let's change the color to see how it works. And it works. So the next tip is you can send the email within the dashboard. So for that, we need a syntax mail to someone with the subject, Hi Nhung, and the body. Here is an email to you as an example. So I'm gonna copy this one and go to Dashboard Action. And I want to add and go to URL action and call that email Nhung. I want to run it on my send email button in here. And that is a text I use, okay? And now I click on, if I click on send email, I see it in here, email Nhung. And when I click on that, Tableau will compose for me an email. Hi Nhung, here is an email to you, but I'm not gonna send that from the email. So here we have another sheet, and I can even prepare my text for my email. Again, have a look at that. Here for X bar, we have customer name, and I can write in here, dear customer name, thank you for being a valuable customer since how many months. So just to show how it works, so let's see that person Silona price, and that person is since 47 months in our superstore, and if I want to send email to this customer, so Tableau will write for me, dear Silona price, and the months will be here as well. Last but not least is what I promised you in the beginning, the secret of my inflation viz. So behind those Polish covers, they are the basic chart. Under those delicious foods and drink, it is a bar chart here, here is a pie chart, here is a half of the pie chart, and here is the other bar chart. And for the animation, you saw that before, but I want to show you again. You can put something on page, so that will show you the animation. And the message here is, with some basic visualization and a little bit of creativity, you can put in some soul to the story you want to tell. So thank you for being with us here today. And please give some feedback if you want to, and you can connect with us using our QR codes here.